What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of the Fins Faithful podcast here on a Monday. Thanks for joining us. A birthday edition. Not only my birthday, Jason, your son's birthday today. We're a little late. We're all rushing back from our birthday events to spend it with you tonight to get you ready and wrap up all the Dolphin news that's happened. Plus, we're going to break down everything that happened in the preseason tie. Yes, tie. No overtime, thank goodness, in preseason. We'll break all that down. We'll tell you about the signings they had today in the injury they had out for the year. As always, guys, we're live with you guys on YouTube, so make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, hit that little bell, subscribe, help support the channel. We appreciate it. Helps us grow. We appreciate all the good, kind words everybody throws at us, and keep the video comments in the chat flooded. We appreciate it. Jason, not only my birthday, your son's birthday. How was it?
It was fun. We did a little dining at Top Golf, so that was phenomenal.
Oh, Top Golf. You can never go. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Jacob. Happy birthday. Thank you, Perfectville. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, brother Lou and Minnie Sarney. Happy birthday, George. Jason growing the beard. Yeah,
it's out of laziness at the moment.
I feel we encourage. Did I encourage that on the last show?
Well, you encouraged me to not take a setting and trim it down a little bit. So we'll see how it goes.
You look good. We gotta have a new show, like the bearded. Now we can have some new shows. The bearded guys,
the bearded faithful, right?
Yeah, the bearded faithful. All right. So enough. Thank you to the Beach. Beach, thank you. Beach is a day one supporter. We appreciate. All right, Jason.
Bet,
right,
Sam.
Until we win a playoff game. Let's see what's better, yours or Fitzpatrick's.
I was going to say I'll probably end up looking like Ryan Fitzpatrick, which not the worst thing. With that
yeah. Shout out to everybody. Thank you. Make sure you guys come on over to YouTube, join us. Come and join in the fun tonight. All right, let's get to some serious business. The news of the day. A tough break. Running back Alexander Matheson, who's at a fantastic camp, and it translated into last preseason game how hard he was running. They signed a couple running backs, but first, tough news on Matheson. What do you think this means? What this means?
Yeah, no, unfortunately he's out for the year. And when he went down, it looked initially like it could have been a concussion. Then it was ruled a neck. He's going to have some surgery, and he's out for the 2025 season. Extremely unfortunate for the veteran. And you hate to see that. You hate to see that on the first preseason game, especially for a guy who was looking really good and looking to kind of make like a 2.0 to his career. So thoughts and prayers with Madison, and the Dolphins had to take care of the business side of things. They brought two backs on today.
Yes, speaking of that, they brought two backs in. They brought in Aaron Champlin. He's previously, this guy played at Harvard, spent time on the practice squad with Dallas, Indianapolis, and the Los Angeles Chargers before last year. I think he had like 3 carries or 6 carries last year with the Steelers. And the guy, they signed another one. The guy everybody's probably more familiar with, Mike Boone, 30-year-old, professional back, journeyman, played in college at Cincinnati. He was undrafted free agent with the Vikings. Played with, most of them know, with Carolina. Also played with the Vikings, the Texans. Do you like any of those two guys? To me, Jason, this signals we like what we see out of Ollie Gordon. And we'll get into Ollie, and we're going to get through my man. Shout out to my man Jason Sarney, by the way, with play-by-play tweets. And our own Jason Sarney, we're going to go off his tweets today, not anybody else. And we'll kind of break everything down, and we'll get into Gordon. But does this signal to you, Jason, like they didn't go out and get Jamal Williams, who they mentioned, who seems like he'd be the perfect replacement? Actually, when I saw the names, like, wow, if you asked me who would I have 6 months ago, Jamal Williams or Matheson, I might go Williams. They went with more of the, Mike Boone, I guess, but this tells me they like what they see out of Gordon.
I agree. I think that you need to bring in camp bodies. So they brought in 2. So they're on the plus number after they lost Madison in terms of just getting running backs reps. And again, camp bodies are going to be needed to spell your top 3 right now. But I really enjoyed watching Ollie Gordon play. That number 31 reminded some of Raheem Mostert, but I think he's going to carve out a little bit of a niche of his own. I liked his toughness, and I tell you, he might challenge Jalen Wright, but we'll see. I wasn't thrilled with Wright's performance, but that's something that we could touch on in a bit.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that. I'm going to get into why
Yeah.
Stay tuned because I'm gonna get into why I like Ollie Gordon and because I was very curious to see what he looked like when the Bullets were flying live game speed. I'm gonna tell you kind of what I liked and about him that I saw more in that Doak Walker year versus the 24 season. Yeah, out of the two backs, they sign anybody kind of catch your attention or just journeyman?
I mean, journeyman. I at this moment, I would be surprised if they roster 4 running backs plus Alec Ingold.
This opens up a spot. And a guy we're going to talk about.
You hate to say it. You hate to say it, but if you're talking about business, this kind of makes a decision at other position groups a little easier.
Yeah.
Considering if they put Ollie Gordon as that number 2.53 running back, so it becomes a 3-person backfield, and then you add the fullback Ingold. So, again, you hate to see it, but this is the game of football, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think other injury news coming out of the game, Elijah Campbell, I think he's fine.
Yeah, a little bit of
any other injuries come on? I'm trying to remember the injury list of that game.
I think other than...
It came out pretty clean, right?
Relatively clean, yeah. The Campbell injury, I think he was holding his right leg when it went down.
Yeah.
The Bears just the telecast did not show any coverage of these, injuries really.
Yeah.
So, but I think he got out of there clean.
Yeah, that's good. That's the best thing, most important. You want to get out of the preseason clean. But tough injury to Madison. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, this is an injury that, potentially long term. Can you play again, kind of thing. I mean, this is a neck injury. Could we have seen Matheson's last touch in the NFL? I mean, that's a realistic conversation. I just feel horrible for him, and he was having a fantastic camp. But
yeah,
the bright side, if there is one, might have to keep 6 wide receivers. We'll talk about why, and this opens up a spot. I didn't want to keep 4 running backs when we were doing it, but they played themselves on, and you weren't going to cut all these. So, all right, real quick, anything on the Fowler report? Teams are monitoring on the Jeremy Fowler report about teams are monitoring Tyreek Hill. I didn't read too much, but it's interesting that they potentially could see something. Let's say week 6, week 8 before the trade deadline, things go south. Teams are looking at it. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I think teams are probably trying to get the Dolphins on a bargain deal. Anything on that, or just you think preseason talk? Or I just find it interesting.
It is interesting. There's a lot of money that has to be kind of divvied up, and kind of a Jalen Ramsey-ish agreement in a team eating certain amount of the money there. But look, if the Dolphins are 3-3, if the Dolphins are 4-2, they're not trading Tyreek Hill. You don't want, for anybody truly rooting for the Dolphins to have a good year, and I hope that's the majority of the fan base, you don't want them to be in week 4, week 5 saying, all right, well, we're south right now. We might have to trade Tyreek Hill for pennies on the dollar. You don't want that. You want to play this year out, but where there's smoke, there could be a little bit of fire. Let's call it a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of smoke, but you got to see what happens the first 4 or 5 games of the season before you can even entertain something like that.
Yeah, I think you're going to hear this smoke. I think it depends if things go south, but if they're in any sort of contention, no chance they trade him. I do think, I know everybody says, oh, it's the end of the world, this offense, but I do think they can survive without Tyreek. I think Tua is good enough, especially in this offense and some of their young weapons. We'll see. I think you can. Especially if they lean into more of the physical, running game approach and lean more into the run. I do think they can still win. The notion they can't win with Tyreek, with Tua, I think it's ridiculous. But it depends on the compensation. It depends on where the team's at as far as record-wise and kind of the vibe. Do we hear stuff coming out of the locker room, stuff like that? So agreed. Right now, we'll put it on the burner. It's nothing hot, but we got anything that comes out, and Fowler's a credible reporter. We got to mention it. So I just thought we'd bring it up. All right. So let's get into this game. Let's get into it. Again, thank Jason for all he did on all these tweets. Here we go. Let's pop it up. Jason Sarney. All right, Jason. Here we go. Am I reading them off, or are you going to read them off?
Yeah, we can breeze through them. We can breeze through them.
Let's start off 2nd and 10. The Willie Gay sack straight off the gate. Willie Gay, and by the way, front 7, the pass rush. We'll talk about some other guys. There's depth there. Willie Gay, man, it's good to see right away translate from camp into preseason, Jason.
Absolutely. And I love the middle of the linebacking core with him and Jordan Brooks. That potential is probably one of the best duos in the middle of the linebacking group that the Dolphins have had potentially for quite some time. So Willie Gay is maybe playing himself into even captain territory. And the guy next to him, Jordan Brooks, to me is a surefire captain. So you really love the way Willie Gay Jr. is playing in his first year in Miami, and the sky's the limit for him. He's young. He's got a lot of years left in the tank. So hopefully the Dolphins found another gem that they can kind of take in that second portion of their career.
And that set up that 3rd and 16, Badgett to Loveland, Ty Dotson. That's where of course, he had that big incident with Jordan Brooks in practice. That's all washed away. They were high-fiving each other. Linebacker play, excellent. Again, front seven, excellent.
Yes.
It was good. All right, Malik Washington on the punt return. Let's go ahead and talk about the special teams, because I think we got to mention that first and foremost, the special teams. How good were they?
Such a night and day difference between what they were the last couple of years. Just coverage units, return units overall. I mean, there was not a bad return. Several Dolphins. D. Eskridge had a good kickoff return. Eric Ezukama had a great return. But you got to love Malik Washington. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I have not seen the kid go down on the first man or not get through at least one would-be tackler, whether it's as a receiver or a return man. He had a very solid return to start off, made the first man miss, and that is per usual. He usually does that very well. He's not going to let the first tackler get him down.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was the difference on the coverage units, the returns. I mean, did they have a bad return? I think like 10 out of their 11 returns were positive. You can just see the difference, and that stuff matters. We talk about offense. That's what separates. There's a lot of parity in this league, Jason. That stuff matters and creates separation. And why we kept the old special team coach so long, his name slips my mind. I tried to get it out of my head. I don't know if you remember his name.
Danny Crossman.
Danny Crossman, yeah. Why he was around. So it's another sign of waiting too long to do something. The organization constantly does that. And this was a sign. Look at the difference. So then Malik Washington end around for a short gain. 3rd and 8, Tua passes to Malik Washington, 3rd and short. They're going for it. And this was the first scenario that it was kind of short in that situation. Go ahead. You want to take over, Jason, bottom to top?
Yeah, the funny thing is with Tyreek out, Jalen Waddle not playing, Malik Washington was thrusted into that number one target for Tua. He made that 3rd down catch, and he made the 4th down conversion. What Washington is going to do as a receiver, I think he's going to be a bona fide chain mover, whether it's, needing 6 yards and just getting at the sticks, but he's going to move those chains this year, even if he is lining up as the 3rd receiver. And I like what he could do on the outside of the hash marks, but I think that we're going to see him play a lot in the slot this year. So Malik Washington, to me, was one of the stars of the game for a little bit that he was on.
Yeah. Then 2nd and 4, Tua throws high, intended for D. Eskridge. Then 3rd and 4 again, Tua to Malik. I think Malik had like 3 or 4 catches early on in that first drive at the sticks and converts for another first down. Devon Achane, a nice run on first down to the left side.
Strong side.
You mentioned left side, ... Let me tell you, let's just talk about it. I forgot to get in our general thoughts of the game. It just reminded me. But, that's one of the things I thought of is that left side of the offensive line. Yes, Jonah had a few struggles. All right. There was a few hiccups. He whipped on the end, Austin Booker. But Patrick Paul was solid. He was spectacular almost. I mean, his technique, watching his technique's bad at times, and he still gets away with it. It amazes me. He just looks like he's an anchor on the left side. There's real potential here. Jonah wasn't perfect. He had some mistakes, but you saw the flashes. He was pretty good in pass pro. Was a little upright at times, but pass pro is actually his strong point. He's got to clean up some technique in the run game, but when he gets a body on you, what him and Paul can do, especially in the screen game, in downfield, in the combo blocks, Jason, that left side got some potential, man.
1,000%. You mentioned Austin Booker, too. Nobody had an answer for him. He was unbelievable.
No,
he was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, the left side, I think, is going to be vastly improved. You had Teron Armstead, of course, last year, but that guard, that interior slot was not at all figured out. And now you have 2 viable options who could help that inside zone as you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to help them this year. I think they're going to do okay at worst.
Yes, I agree. I just think, Baldy. We're going to show you a video, but Baldy had a great piece on Patrick Paul highlighted in the game. Heck, let's get to it now. Let's just show it while we're going through it. Why wait? Let's get through that video. I want to show you guys. Listen to what he says
Watch
here.
Patrick Paul in his 24 snaps here against Chicago. Watch him run. Like, he's just big and he's smooth and he's fast. You can build a perimeter game around him. Now, there's an old adage in the run game. Hit the hip, move the body. Run behind him. Hit the hip, move the body. And there goes Achane, all right, for 6 yards. Hit the hip, move the body. Write it down, all right? It's facts. Now, watch him pop out of his stance. Excellent job right here between Tua, all right, and his man. All right, it's one play after another. All right, now, watch him just sit in the chair here. Just sit in the chair, control his man. All right, ball's out. The ball's going to come out fast in Mike McDaniel's offense. But when it has to hold it, he can do it. Watch him just hook block. Seal the edge right there. All right, let Achane squirm for 6 or 7 yards. It was one play after another. Like, you got to seal here. Like, seal the three, and then just pop the edge. Just knock him to the ground, all right? It's just one good play after another. It's not perfect, but he's damn good. Short set, just cover him up. I mean, look at this.
Man, let me tell you something. We could talk about it all day, but hearing Baldy speak on offensive line, it's so romantic sounding, But
he's a fan.
Did you
hear
see
him
that?
talk about?
Did you see when he 30? I will say it again: 36 and 31, 36 arm length, 31 bench reps. That allows you to get away with mistakes, and you saw it when that edge came around low, boom, popped his hands, extended strength and length, took him out of the play. And you saw in the one play, his arms were around the guy's stomach on the sides. Bad technique. And that's what I didn't like about college. But he's got so much athleticism, strength, and he able to hold his guy. Man, I get on Greer a lot, but this could be a home run. That draft last year could actually be a home run. And you saw Jonah next to him on that. I just had to play that. We got some more video clips. We'll get into different guys. But, Jason, if you don't believe us, believe Baldy.
Yeah. Baldy's been bullish on the Dolphins. He's liked what he saw when he was down in camp. He obviously is liking what he has seen from Patrick Paul. This is what you want. Second year, second round pick, developing, taking over for a surefire Hall of Famer. He's on the plus. So I think he's only going to get better. And, the sky's the limit. Again, to say that phrase, I'm really happy with the way he's developing.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 44, 45 people watching everywhere. Come on over.
Another thing about the athleticism.
Yeah.
He's like a mixed martial artist, Patrick Paul. Like, he has that type
He's a nice guy, too. He's just quiet, But apparently he's a shit talker. And I like to hear that. You remember who said it?
Jalen Phillips.
Jalen Phillips.
That Paul was laughing during a rep. That's his method of shit talk, just laughing at folks. So I like that.
Yeah. We'll give you our general thoughts after we go through these tweets. We were going to do it first, but we were so excited to get through it. We'll do it after and kind of wrap it up for you with all that. But we're going through these tweets here. Jason Sarney and myself. My birthday, Jason's son's birthday, so come and join us on this birthday bash we got going. If you're watching anywhere else, come give us a like. Come over on YouTube. Watch on here. Join the chat. We appreciate it. All right. We talked about the offensive line. Again, the left side. Another run by Achane on first down. They went right. Solid cut in, so that's good. Borum and Daniels, who I saw a lot of things I like with Daniels' ability to change directions. So that was good. With your thoughts on the first team offensive line?
I mean, it's incomplete because you really expect Austin Jackson to be there, but Borum, I would say, held his own as good as he can. But James Daniels was fine. These are things I'm going to go back to the tape too to really individually watch position groups.
Yeah, these are our initial thoughts. We got to really go back, watch all 22, kind of, but this is our initial thoughts. We want to get it out to you guys now.
But look, they drove down the field. I mean, the short yardage was an issue, sure, but they held their own.
Yeah,
as a group.
By the way, I tweeted out, let's run it 4 times in a row. I don't care if they didn't get it. Run it 4 times in a row. I don't think they'll do that in the regular season. They probably throw it once. But people complaining about that, the play calling in preseason, we're not worried about here. Like, people need to cool down with that. I want them to see it run it 12 times in a row if they have to. Work on that. And let's get Ollie Gordon back there.
And something that I noticed, yes, 100%. And something interesting, on their first goal line or close to the goal line rushing attempt, Nick Westbrook-Ikine was on the field. So eventually, if you develop a propensity to run,
block or catch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like seeing that.
Shout out to Nick Westbrook-Ikine with a nice
he had a good play
session today. All right. Move on here. Pretty ball fake by Tua. Another end around to Malik. They were really involved with Malik early in the game on this drive. 3rd and 3. Slant to Taj Washington for a first down. The beginning of what we saw, a guy who I said, with these receivers out, I want to see which young guy takes control. I didn't like what that back end group we're talking about in the second half. We'll get to. They didn't do a lot, but there was one guy who stood out. Man, Taj Washington was phenomenal. That number 7 makes him look quicker, but his ability to stop on a dime is incredible.
He had 2 catches. Well, he had 3 catches on 4 targets. He led the Dolphins with 53 receiving yards. And 2 of the catches that he made such great moves to make a Bears defender miss. He's smooth, man. He has got a smoothness to his game.
Yeah. Let's play some of the Washington highlights while we're on them.
Just a 4-man rush on the slant. And
there's the 3rd and 3.
Washington.
Tough catch.
At Maryland Talia for 3 seasons.
Look at this move on a dime.
This one goes out to Taj Washington, who's able to maneuver around Blackwell. To Edmonds. Honestly, your best bet is to put TJ.
This was pretty.
Yeah, and there it is. Stop on the crazy. Is it the number change? But man, we talked about at the top of the show. There's a chance now, right? They only keep 3 backs. Let's say, because these are journeymen they brought in. This opens the door. It was hard to get 6 receivers. If he keeps playing like this, he won't make it through waivers.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And look, this is a preseason where if there are wide receiver injuries around the league and a guy like a Taj with his skill set would happen to be cut, he can get scooped up in a flash. It only takes one team to want to roster him for the 53. So I think he has – look, if they go 6, he's on the team. If they go 5, he might be ahead. He might be ahead of Eskridge from a receiver standpoint.
Yeah, but special teams there, Jason, right?
Exactly right. Now, Eskridge on a 2-phase special teamer returned a punt for like 19 yards, returned a kickoff for like 40 yards. Let me just make sure I have those numbers correct. Give or take 41 yards on the kickoff and 16 on the punt. But something to maybe watch for, if they're both going to be rostered and Malik Washington is becoming valuable as a receiver, wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to maybe move Taj into a kickoff man with Eskridge and maybe even have one of those guys on a punt return and keep Malik to being a receiver. But I love the way Malik is returning kickoffs and punts as well. So good dilemma to have. I'm going 6. I put out a latest 53 today. Taj and D are on that 53.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to do our that's why it was so cool we did that initial one before anything happened. It's going to be hard to do I'm interested. Can't wait to do our final projection. The Washington brothers. We need Liam. Yes. Another one of my thoughts from this game was the offensive line depth. We'll get into that. No bueno, especially on the outside.
No bueno.
You keep both, Adrian. Chicago would grab Taj for – oh, true.
Hey, that's a really good point because you saw what he could do. You saw what he could do. Taj is going to make this team. I mean, unfortunately, IR'd last year as a rookie, which everyone, I think, was very upset and surprised about. The Washington Twins, Perfectville, Sam. Okay, I'm stealing that. No, I'm just kidding. I'll cite you for it. Good one, Sam.
Daniel makes a good point. They like Henning. We saw a lot of Henning on the return game, and they cut Baldwin today, by the way.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that. To make room, Baldwin went. They cut him, and they put Matheson on the IR to make room for the two running backs. I should have mentioned that at the top. But, yeah, Henning's an interesting guy. They like him, and he's a good returner. So,
38.
but I would say right now the leaders in the ballpark is Eskridge and Taj.
100%. Henning is a guy you can practice squad.
That's perfect, Phil.
Really
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I really like that.
If we steal it, we know where we got it.
We'll hashtag you. We'll tag you.
Jalen Wright with another strong one. Jalen Wright stuffed up the middle on 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal coming up. Like you said, Nick Westberger kind of on the field. You want to see more of Jalen? So do I. I think he's got to step up now. Yeah. Another stuff. This was the big 4 runs in a row or 3 runs in a row. It was 4 runs in a row, right? On the goal line, or was it? Yeah, 4 runs in a row. They didn't get it. No problem with it. There was one play where kind of Jonah whiffed on I think the Austin Booker block on the goal line. He whiffed kind of, and Jonah had his ups and downs. We talked about Savanea, but yeah, I didn't have any problem with the 4 straight runs, right?
Hey, look, if you have anything in the bag of tricks that is a pass play, you don't want to bring it out now. And again, look, I know it's a little different for the Dolphins, but if they can establish other teams thinking that they are going to run at the goal line on short situations, there could be a couple of times where you tuck that back and you throw a nice little proper pass to a proper type receiver in the back of the end zone. So I think this is kind of a chess play setup. You don't want to throw all your cards out there on the first preseason game. So it was fine.
Like you said, stuffed on the goal line. Bears drive, they get the ball back. Then for the Bears, we had Bagent. Bears 34, Bears at their own 10. Bagent throws a bit high, falls to the ground, another 3 and out from Dolphins D. The Eskridge with the punt return. Miami Dolphins 2 is out. Zach Wilson's in. Incomplete, 1st and 10 to Julian Hill. Then Zach Wilson, 2nd and 10 over the middle, that big 36-yarder. And then Jalen Wright with a 1st and 10 run on line of scrimmage. I guess let's talk about Zach Wilson here. All right, so my thoughts on Zach was ups and downs, highs and lows. You saw the good, you saw the bad. You saw when he doesn't set his feet properly, he gets in trouble. The gas on the fastball even goes away. The holding on to the ball and the pocket presence is awful. It's a lot what I saw in the Jets. There's more work to do here. Neither quarterback looked good. We'll get into Quinn in a few here, but your takeaway on Zach Wilson.
Well, a lot of the Zach Wilsonites out there were very thrilled that he, led 2 drives for scores. But you mentioned the pocket presence, not good. Okay, you can't take as many sacks as that. You got to read through you have a first receiver on a read. Throw it
worse than Tannehill's. Worse than Tannehill.
Oh, my God. But look, again, Zach Wilson, we've said this before. He was a failed top pick pretty much. Number 2 pick overall. He went to the Denver Broncos, didn't do anything except maybe impress a little bit on a practice squad or in practices. He is not a starting quarterback. He is competing to keep the backup quarterback role. Let me make that clear.
Yes.
He is not the Dolphins starter. He is a 1-year rental to be a break the glass emergency situation. And I will tell you, I will not put my mortgage on to say that he is week 15, the backup quarterback right now. Quinn Ewers will get into his performance, but there's no guarantee that Zach Wilson is locking up this role when we get to later in the season. And you don't want to see Zach Wilson starting for the Miami Dolphins unless it's resting Tua and the first teamers week 17 or 18 because they're in the playoffs. But that's a good scenario to even dream about. But Zach Wilson, he is what he is. We saw what he is. And a couple of little sprinkles are good, but a couple little sprinkles are bad as well. So it's a net neutral. It's Zach Wilson. We know what we got with him.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. We'll talk about Ewers. I will say I don't think Ewers' stat line, he didn't play as bad as his stat line. I will say that. But yeah.
I thought the fumble too. We'll talk about Ewers when he goes in the second half.
The fumble, the fumble. You know what? Here's a perfect example about. We'll talk about the fumble. Yeah, I'll show you that. when it comes. Second 11, another pass to Washington. We showed you the highlights. Makes a pretty step back, cut on a dime. Man, impressive out of all the young receivers. Dolphins knock on the door again. Wilson to the middle of end zone, intended for Eskridge, PI, first down on the 1. First and goal, Matheson, no gain. Second and goal, play fake. Zach, you got to hit this.
That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, wide open. And I'm another point about this game, tight end room scares me. We got to hope Dalen Waller comes back healthy. Don't love what I see in that room. I know Jonnu took advantage of situations, but he still took advantage. You have to have the ability to take advantage. That was on Wilson. That should have been a touchdown. He short hopped a wide open Tanner Connor. Those are the little things, Jason.
Wide open. Tanner Connor could have had a gimme. You can't blame him, but there it is. The short hop of wide open Tanner, 100%, man. 100%.
Yes, Vince. Yep.
That's a good point. There are two, and by the way, Zach Wilson could have thrown a pick 6 to the sideline. If the Bears defensive back had some better hands, or maybe just didn't take his eye off the ball, that was a house call the other way. You can't do that. And if that was good,
he handed them 6 points.
Correct. If that was a Tua Tagovailoa throw, people would still be tweeting about it right now. And I'm not, as people know, I don't classify myself as a Tua stan. I am a Tua supporter that hopes that he can stay healthy and lead this offense the way he should and could, and has proven that he could when he is 17 games healthy. You saw what he did 2023. So if you're going to hold one quarterback to throwing outside of the hash marks to the sideline, a duck ball or whatever you want to call it, where are the Wilsonites in criticizing that throw?
Yeah, look, why wouldn't you root for? If anything, watching Zach Wilson should make you appreciate what you have in Tua. Tua's a floor raiser, and you can question the ceiling. But in this offense, what he does in the pocket, he's not the most athletic guy, but his ability to move around the pocket and throw with the anticipation, it doesn't make those mistakes often. Anybody who criticizes Tua after watching Zach Wilson play is nuts. You should want him to stay healthy. You should want him to stay well. He gives your team a floor.
Another little thing to throw over to. Sorry, George.
No, go ahead.
Earlier, he does these ball fakes and these ball situations to when he does the tosses or the fakes.
Excellent.
It's excellent. Other quarterbacks might not have that ability, and it might seem, why not? Why can't you just do that? It is so smooth the way Tua does that, and it's part of the offense. So you need that component to him too on those end around, on those sweep plays.
No. It's fantastic what he does. Ewers actually does that pretty good too.
There you
go. He does. He actually does that pretty well.
I can't see Wilson doing the same.
Yeah, man. And tough break we get for Madison as well. That's tough. Play fake, Badging to Devaney for first down pickup. First and 20. Yeah, first and 20, Chicago. And by the way, Jason, jump in because you probably remember it more than I do. Writing and jump in when you got something to say about each one. Sure. Sideline pass to Devaney for 5 yards. Badging his Durham Smythe in the hands and drops the pass. Surprise. Actually, Durham was pretty good here.
Durham was a blocker. Durham was a blocker, and the Bears broadcast staff did like to bring up that when he was with Miami, he averaged just over a catch a game. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Luther Burden, Theo Weiss's teammate, the rookie who they got high hopes for, makes a first down catch. And then the young running back I like, is it Managai?
Kyle Monangai from Rutgers.
Yeah, he's real good. He's a guy I like. I took him in the 7th round. Dolphins defense again. Man, let me tell you something. This defense, these 3 young defensive tackles, all right? And I'm going to show you a video of 2 of them. But these young defensive tackles, Grant, and even Biggers and Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips showed you at 21 some of the pure man strength he has. Jason, I'm scared when he's 25. I'm telling you, I've said that.
You know what makes me even more scared is that he signs his second contract with somebody else.
No, we'll bring it back. Hopefully we have that problem.
Right.
So Elijah Campbell getting hurt. Looked like his right leg. I think everything's checked out. It's not that bad. He was the only injury. First and goal for Chicago. Penalty flag. No surprise on the Bears. First and goal, Badger rolls out, completes the Storm Duck. I thought the young secondary, Storm Duck didn't have his best game, Jason. The young corners the guys who stood out the most to me were actually Bonner and Isaiah Johnson. How did you feel about Duck and the starters? I thought Bonner played well, and I like Johnson. Duck kind of, it's one game, but didn't, he gave up a few catches.
Yeah, he did. But you know what? I think he solidified himself as the cornerback one.
Yes.
You could say whatever you want for the depth of the room, but Duck, I think, is going to have every opportunity to be that lead guy on the outside, and I think he can handle himself well. Looking forward to seeing a potential full season of him. I like the way Ethan Bonner got his pass deflected, which ended up into your guy, Patrick McMorris's waiting arms for the interception. So Bonner, Bonner is another summer all-star, and you hope that this could translate. They need boundary corners. They need people. And I think Bonner is – we put him on that 53.
Yeah, we were glad we did.
Yeah, we'll keep him on. We'll keep him on.
When Ollie lines up at 7 yards deep, he gets a great jump on the defense. The play action is awesome. Yeah, we'll show you an Ollie highlight.
Oh, yeah.
But the young defensive tackles, and I'm going to get to them. And they're in the front seven, there's depth there. There's some young rushers, not only Murphy, but McClendon. The guy we had in the practice squad last year, I thought
very well.
Maybe the best.
He got a couple of tackle for losses, a sack or so. He played rather well.
Zach Wilson sacked on first down. 2nd and 18, Wilson looks, scrambles for sideline inbound for 7 yards. 3rd and 11, drop back, deep pass to Taj Washington. That was that one play we showed you in the highlights. Was fantastic. Oh, and he catches it, stops on a dime again, cuts in. And like you said, Taj making his presence felt. And you said it. Miami Dolphins, 6 wide receivers at the moment.
6.
Eskridge Jatard should be on the team. 3rd and 5 in the red zone. Wilson over the middle to Easy E. I just don't think there's room for Easy E this year, even though he got a nice catch in the game. 1st and goal, Miami inside the 2-minute mark. Wilson hands off to Jalen Bright for a nice burst for a touchdown. That was and that where Jonah had one of his best blocks in the game. Let's show you that block on that. That was a seal block he had on that touchdown.
Goal line stand today.
Look at 72.
There's Jalen Wright.
We'll play it again.
Stop this time. Wright bursts through for a touchdown. One goal line stand today.
You see 72 right there in the middle. Look at the seal block on the defensive tackle. Cuts him off. And then Jalen Wright cuts back in the middle. Into the end zone. Great job by Jonah. Again, those are the highs from the young kid. A lot to – we'll show you some of the bad, but a lot to work on. But, man, that's the stuff we want to see. And that's what was – he was next to 62. Who was that? Fetty. And we got some Fetty clips, no bueno, for you playing at left tackle. But, yeah, great play by Jonah there. Dolphins go 14-7 Miami. Matt Dickerson, again, played really well. It's going to be tough. Those five we talked about those 5 guys. Those 5 guys are in. Sealer, Grant, Benito Jones, who started the game, by the way. Yep. Grant came in pretty on the 3rd play, which is no problem. They're going to rotate. Biggers and Phillips, those 5 are in. Those 5 are in.
And Biggers. And shout out to O-line coach Eric Smith. He got a screenshot of that. We've been preaching. I've been loving to say that Biggers is going to get his hands up at the line of scrimmage, whether it be on a field goal or PAT attempt. He nearly got one. He's going to bat some balls down at the line of scrimmage. He's almost got that basketball type of body. He was a basketball player, and he's extremely athletic and agile for his size. So he can play the 5 tech. He's in the rotation, and I think he's going to be a factor on special teams as well. Biggers is on the roster. Yeah. But not discounting Matt Dickerson. He had a fine game.
Yeah. Daniel has a question. George and Jason, is Malik wide receiver 3? Absolutely.
Yes.
I think you're going to see NWI utilized in the middle field in situations, but a consistent basis, Malik Washington is going to be wide receiver 3. But you'll see a package, like you mentioned, Jason, especially when we get inside the 20.
Correct.
Where he's almost in the tight end, Jonu Smith role blocking. Correct. And then you don't know what they're going to do. Are they, because he's good enough blocker, or are we going to put our head, is still going to put his head down, put his hand in the running back's chest and pull it out and hit it over the top to NWI on a play action? You just don't know. So, yeah, he'll be used. But I think between the 20s on the most consistent basis of right now, I would say NWI is your number. I mean, NWI. Malik Washington is your number 3 receiver.
In terms of wide receivers, not including, of course, Devon Achane, who probably will end up being the 2nd or 3rd leading reception getter for the Dolphins. Malik will be the third leading wide receiver in terms of receptions. Now, touchdowns, that could be an NWI category. Overall yardage, we'll see. But yes, as terms of a chain-moving option, Malik, pen him in as the number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody watching on every platform. Guys, come on. Join us on this little birthday bash we got going on. My birthday, Jason's son's birthday. We're here hanging with you guys, breaking it down with some film, Jason's tweets, play-by-play. Kind of give you an update of what happened through the game. So come on and join us. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a little subscription, but hit that bell. Help us out and continue to support. And join the chat. Throw some questions out. All right, so Finn Spin, we've got 4 years at least of Seawall with Sealer, Grant, Phillips, and Biggers. Absolutely. I'm very excited about that.
Me too.
Very excited about that. That is, what they've done the last few drafts, especially if they got the left side of the offensive line. You got Aaron Brewer, and you hope Austin Jackson can stay healthy. Then you solidified the middle of the defense. That's how you build winning formulas to win football games late in the year. It's not the 5'10" speed receivers first. It's these guys. And you can feel that stuff out later. Even if you move on from Tyreek, even if you moved on from a Jalen Waddle bench, you have that as a base formula. Look at Philadelphia. Then you add the other stuff. That's why they kind of did it the wrong way. That's why I said they shouldn't have done that Tyreek Hill trade. It was fun at the moment. But I will say this, and I give Greer a lot of stuff. You know that. And I'm not saying he's great and he should stay. What I'm saying is if these 2 drafts here, line of scrimmage, first, second round of each one, you got line players in each of them. I will give him the props that he did the right thing. Problem is, should have been done first like this. Because to be fair, they tried in 2020, but Austin Jackson, remember, they drafted him to be a left tackle. So that's already a fail when you got to move him at right tackle. And he's an injury-prone, kind of average tackle. Hunt was good, but you let him go. And then Raekwon Davis in the interior was just okay. He wasn't great. So they needed to hit home runs. It seems like there's more home run potential here with these guys.
And for Jordan Phillips, need not look at raw statistics. Look at the guys that he's taken on allowing his other teammates.
Same thing for Grant.
Right.
Yeah.
So we all love our statistics. Oh, he only had 2 sacks. Oh, he only had 1 tackle for loss. Stop it. They are going to help the teammates and help the overall defense and that overall front.
Yeah. You'll see what they do. A couple highlights here we're going to show you. You'll see what they'll do when they hold up on double teams.
Yeah.
All right. First and 10 for Chicago. Badgett over another Ethan Bonner deflection and in the hands of my guy Patrick Remorse, who I was a little upset he gave up that 1 touchdown, but that was a great throw in the back of the end zone. But good to see this team.
Undefendable throw, beautiful play.
Yeah, and it's good to see this team create turnovers. They need they need to get more turnovers and interceptions on this defense.
Yes,
no, I didn't. I'll tell you what I did get. Newark Victor. That's from my nephew. Yeah. I did get that. All right. So thank you for the compliment there, Elwood. It might be the Hawaiian shirt. All right. So 7 seconds left. All timeouts. Wilson Howard gets sacked on first down. Oof. How many times you're going to – a lot of those sacks were on him.
Yeah.
Look,
it's an offense that you need to get the ball out quick. So you need to get the ball out quick, and you can't hold the ball too long. And Zach Wilson got sacked 4 times. Yeah.
2nd and 14, Miami with 20 seconds left. Two timeouts left in midfield. Wilson and shotgun scrambles get decent yards. Timeout called, 3rd and 6 from Miami. 3rd and 6 from the 42. Wilson there's what you're talking about. That near pick 6 where he basically handed it 6 points. Really, the corner just dropped it. 4th and 6, Miami going for it. Again, sacked. Burden got out of bounds, 1 second left. 14-10, Miami going.
I thought they got out.
Yeah.
I didn't. It zeroed. You saw 0-0. They went back. They added the second on that. So
first half notes: 3 sacks. Both team averages 5 total yards, 160 for Miami. Chicago 138. Dolphins 3rd down efficiency 62%. Bears 57. Time of possession kind of even. Penalties favored. That's good to see the Bears. Some first half highlights.
I will say one thing: the Dolphins, the third stringers, they picked up 9 penalties in the second half. So take that penalty number with a grain of salt on that.
So we'll get into the second half and some of the things that we didn't like as far as. But I want to show you some of the young defensive tackles right now. I wanted to show you Kenneth Grant before we get into or maybe let's wait till he makes the plays and we'll go through and I'll go through but the pass rush in the first half was fantastic, and especially Willie Gay had a sack. Who else was it? Murphy, McClendon, a bunch of these guys. So again, the front seven depth was pretty good. Almost had a Miami Miracle. Oh yeah, at the end. Shout out to the dive bar. What's up, brother? I think they just had a show on, so come on over. You just watch the dive bar. Come on over, join us, hang out with us here. All right, let's move on to the next slide here. Second half underway. Jalen Wright handoff, nothing. 1 yard gain. 2nd and 9. Play fake. Wilson as a combo for 5 yards. 3rd and 4. Timeout. 3rd and 4. Wilson holds on to the long. Again, gets sacked.
Now, to go to the timeout, what bothered me is that was your first possession coming out into the second half. Why are you calling a timeout? Please get that out of the way in the preseason, because if things go maybe a tiny bit differently and you have all 3 timeouts for when the Dolphins had a chance to win, you don't want to burn timeouts in the early portions of the third, especially in your first possession coming out of the locker room. It's kind of the worst time to have to do that.
Yes.
And they were late getting to play. This is problematic.
McClendon showed. Yes, he did. We talked about that. The depth in the front seven looks really good. It's going to be tough between Good, McClendon, and Murphy, but Good made a special teams play. So that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Question is, which guys can you get through?
Right.
That's the question. And shout out to Mike Albert, my cuz. What's up, brother? How you doing? Thank you for popping in tonight in the show. Thank you for the birthday wishes. So, again, Wilson holds on to the ball too long, gets sacked. Miami has to punt. First down run goes. Miami punts. Bears start at their own 10. Again, first down run, negative 1 yard or 1 yard gain. Sorry. Again, defense holding out for the Dolphins. I thought overall they played pretty well in the game. All right, so Case Keenum at quarterback.
Texas high school legend.
Yeah, yes, sir. Air Mel's to Jack Jones. Jack Jones on the pick, pass interference. Still,
from the first camera angle, you thought it was a bad throw and a nice pick, but Jack held him.
Again, the thing with Jack is it's good to see the ball skills there.
Yeah,
I like this. He's going to make plays for us. He real good. A few penalties from Miami. You mentioned that the penalties picked up. Nice pass deflection from my man John Sanders.
I had to get that in.
Practice squad. I don't think he makes the team, but he's a nice developmental guy. Really good size in the practice squad. Keenan passed a wide open target for a big gain. Illegal shift penalty on the Bears, another penalty, moving them back 5 yards. 1st and 15, run, blow up by Miami. Front, no gain. 2nd and 15, Keenan over to the middle to rookie free agent Walker, 14-yard pickup. Again, 3rd and 1, tackle for loss, Derek McClendon. We talked about him. Fantastic game.
Yep.
Keenan floats one up back of the end zone, broken up by Jack Jones. Pass was bobbled. JJ made sure it was incomplete to take over.
That was a good play. That was a nice play. I mean, the receiver didn't necessarily have his hands on it, but play through the whole possession in the play, and he made sure the ball wasn't going to end up in the receiver's hands in the end zone.
Yeah.
Good play.
Yeah. All right. So the moment everybody was waiting for, Quinn Ewers in the game. Quinn was in the game, and I will say this overall about Quinn. I mentioned this at the top. Quinn stats look worse than he actually played. He didn't get much help from the offensive line, especially the tackles, whether it was Afade or Skeon Smith. And the young receivers, the Weisses and the Armstrongs, didn't help him out. They didn't get much separation. Even though he threw one high, he should have thrown it better, but he still should have caught that. I didn't like the way Weiss went up for the ball. Again, the kid has a lot to work on. He's a developmental guy. I told everybody, hold your horses. Let's wait to see preseason. But again, I don't think he played as bad, Jason, as the stats were led to believe. He didn't get much help.
I agree there, and he's playing with third stringers around him. So that's a factor. And look, he's a 7th round drafted quarterback who is a developmental kid. That's not a knock on him. That means he's not at this moment an NFL starter. So the folks who are saying that, I think, have a little bit more hatred to a first-string starter than they do for a liking of this young man's game. Now, in 2-3 years, can he develop into a NFL viable starter? Certainly has the arm talent to do it. I'm not going to get on Ewers for that fumble. You're in the shadow of your own end zone. I would have loved to not seen an empty backfield, have a running back there to help him block a bandit or some kind of sack reducer. You know, you got to protect your quarterback there. I'm not going to eat his lunch on the fumble there, but Ewers is a developmental quarterback and a third stringer who could compete for a backup role if all things go right for him and things start going wrong for Wilson. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we had our expectations a little too high, and we came back to reality a little bit. It's not easy. But what I do like is you saw finally they're showing their young quarterbacks to do what their successful starter does. How throwing on timing, get the ball out quick. You saw a little bit of that. Instead of they actually got a guy who could complement the skill set instead of getting Skylar Thompsons and Tyrone Hunt, these guys who have no skill set even match, where you have to change the offense completely. Quinn Ewers, I will say this about is he has the ability, Jason. You saw that one, he was off the timing with, I forget which receiver, it was Henning or somebody, Tyreek Black. The timing was off, but you saw, boom, 2 seconds out the hand. This is the spot it's going to be at. That's all timing stuff. That'll get better. But I like the fact that they're doing that with their quarterbacks now. Right. So when, God forbid, something happens to Tua, the offense doesn't have to look like black and white. And that's been the problem. Tua runs this offense to a key. Everything in this organization is catered around Tua on the offense. So you need to get a quarterback. Maybe he doesn't have the skill set, but it has a percentage, or at least the tools. Their strengths are somewhat of that ability. And Quinn Ewers, that's why it was a perfect kind of fit there. Would you agree? You know, he was getting out quick.
He was. I mean, a couple of passes behind that. Theo Weiss pass was a little up there. Got one hand on it. Probably give a little bit more negative credit to the quarterback than the receiver. He tried to make a play, but this will develop. Give him more reps. Give him a couple more preseason games. And look, I think he's still on the roster. I think you still put him on the 53. That's just out of necessity. But you know, I think better days are ahead for Quinn Ewers, and it wasn't that terrible when you look at everything.
Yeah,
but it wasn't good.
Yeah. So you see you mentioned the Ewers pass to the open sidelines pass to. I still think Ewers should have got in. We should have been able to.
Would have been a spectacular-ish catch.
Yeah, I just didn't like the way he went up for it. It was a little strange, but again, should have been a better pass. Yeah. Maybe Ewers is the bizarro Skylar Thompson stuck in preseason, but I've seen Skylar do that before. Skylar's, again, I said it in baseball, he's the 4.8 player, good enough to play in the AAA, but when the big lights come on in the big leagues, can't play, and that's so. Stop me with the Skylar Thompson stuff.
If he's going to do it against the first teamers in the regular season consistently, come back at us and talk to us. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so. Slant to Quinn Ewers, a slant to AJ Henning, broken up again. No separation is what I'm talking about. Grayson Murphy, sack on 1st and 10, 53. I was getting a little worried about Gray. I was like, man, I didn't like the way he started the game, first few plays. Then he came on with the sack and the pressure. He got his feet, and I was thinking, man, McClendon's, really making a name here and good on special teams. So, Murphy, we like him, but he's got to take advantage of these opportunities, Jason.
Murphy, yes, he does, but he also has some stuff to work on. I mean, he wasn't a world beater against the Bears. He had a nice sack that he was basically untouched getting off the edge. He could work on his run defense, but Murphy is, by definition of a football player, a football player. Yeah. And if they do not roster him, I think he could make it through to get back to the practice squad and a definite elevation into the year. But he is a good mold of a football player that has a lot of potential.
Yeah. 2nd and 10, screen pass to Madison, couldn't haul it in. Then here's the one. Ewers in shotgun, empty backfield, gets pressured, strip sack. Chicago takes over 1st and goal. This is an example of, he should have felt the pressure, but how bad the backup left tackle played. Actually have the video. Let's play that video here real quick. This was the play where I believe it was the Keon Smith with. Where is it? Sorry, this is live.
On 3rd
there we go.
Long for Ewers, still looking for his first completion. That ball's loose. It is out. It is the Bears.
This team does not have a swing tackle identified. there is not that number 6 guy on this team. We don't know who it is.
Look at right there. Look at the top of your screen. No chance. I mean, again, let's play. I mean, you have no chance.
On third down and long for Ewers, still looking for
no chance.
Completion. That ball's loose. It is out. It is the Bears.
No chance. That was, I mean, again, that was all day. And let's keep it going. I'm going to give you 2 more. All right? 2 more on why the offensive line depth's in trouble. And especially that Brandon Daniels actually played well. So, he's a guy who's interesting, but the tackle position is not on this team. I don't think it can't be on this team. Here's 2 of Afedi. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Afedi is Wiss. Let's roll the film against 94. Hold on here. All right. Look at that. Look at the technique. Now, I mean, again. And this was when Zach was in. I mean, and here's another one. I mean, the technique and look at shows hands, move, and then just redirection, takes his own self out of the play. Oh, Jason, I'm sorry, but I don't know if the they got to find some offensive line tackle help, because as good as Patrick Ball's been, if something happens to him, we're in trouble. I mean, in trouble.
I fully agree. Like I mentioned, there's no bona fide swing tackle. They're going to need to identify that, and you better pray that this Dolphins offensive front line 5, those front 5, stay as healthy as humanly possible, because you don't want to dip into Liam in the interior, and you don't want to dip in and have Keon Smith or some scrap heap journeyman play one of the tackle spots. So you mentioned a while ago that maybe in an absolute pinch, Jonas Savaianea could play a tackle spot. That's something to I want to
keep him there, though.
You got to keep him next to Paul and have those guys develop on the left side. But it wouldn't shock me at all.
Jason, you make a good point. That's probably what they're going to have to do. But I hate when they start having to do that, move guys around, and they never learn the position.
The only other thing that they could do is, and look, there's 31 other teams in this league that have to make difficult cuts. But if one of them is a bona fide veteran lineman who could play a right or a left tackle in a pinch, the Dolphins might have to scoop that person up at detriment of another positional player. So we'll see. I put Keon Smith off the 53 I put out today on Dolphins Wire, and I actually put Andrew Mayer back on, not necessarily knowing if there's going to be a PUP or IR situation, but they probably have to initially roster him and then make that decision. But there's a 5-person offensive line on this team and nothing else after that.
Yes, preach. But I agree with you, Matt Greek. Francis Moraga from the UM he's going to be a top 10 pick if everything works out. Shout out to Finn's TV, Finn, Sammy. We'll actually both be on his show tomorrow night, so make sure you guys check that out. He does great work. Great friend of mine. Both
100%. Great guy.
All right, so first and goal. Following the Ewers fumble, Mac Dickerson makes another play. Not only the 3 young defensive tackles stood out, but also Mac Dickerson. It's going to be interesting. We mentioned him fighting for a spot. Second and goal at the Chicago 5, false start penalty on the Bears, moving them back. Then it was second and goal for Chicago. Screen pass, offsides Miami, 5-yard penalty, Chicago back at the 5. Second and goal, Chicago again at the 5, handoff, short gain. Defense, I thought, played well all game. Especially the depth on the defensive line, the front 7 really showed in this game. Third and goal, Keenum steps up in the pocket, sidearms. They throw over the middle for a touchdown. Could have ran well. Is this the one that Big Morris got beat on?
Which one was that?
The throw over the middle for a touchdown, 17-14. He sidearmed it. It was that one, or because the B.J. Adams corner end zone, was that?
B.J. Adams is the corner end zone.
Yeah.
I think I put over B.J. Adams in the corner of the end zone, so this must have been it.
It's hard to get on B.J. now. That was a perfect throw and pass.
Perfect, yeah. Good. They scored on a couple of nice passes that you can't do anything about.
Again, another kickoff. Again, special teams, guy. We mentioned earlier in the show, 10 out of their 11 special teams reps were wins. And what a difference for this new special team coach. Easy E getting a shot. At midfield, Ollie Gordon era begins. You went incomplete pass. 2nd and 10, Miami. Ollie Gordon with this pre-spin move made first potential miss with a tackle. First down, 21 yards for the rookie. Way to debut. How about some visual with that, Jason?
Yeah, that got me excited. That got people out of their seats on that play. That was a great play.
Look at this move. Look. Woo. Oh, is that a bigger Mostert or is that Ollie Gordon? One more time for because his role is going to be expanded here now with the Matheson injury. And I want to talk about Ollie Gordon here because here's the thing about Ollie Gordon. I mentioned it on our show. What I wanted to see from Ollie in live bullets and live action and live game speed. The difference between his 23 Doak Walker season and his 24 season, we talked about in the draft, was his decisiveness. His indecisiveness in 24 slowed him down. He's not a speed burner. He's not a 4.6 guy, but he looked a lot faster on film in 23. And I saw in live bullets and live action, he looked quick. He looked decisive. He got his pads down, and he was running behind his pads, and he was leaning forward. That's the Ollie Gordon you could hit a home run with. Because and after that 23 season, you would have told me Ollie Gordon was a 6th-round pick. I would have said you're crazy, right? After the 24 season, he looked like an undrafted guy. So it was somewhere in the middle. Positive sign more than anything. It's one game only. But the decisiveness, the vision, they hit the hole, running behind his pads, the lean forward. Jason, encouraging signs. And we hate to say, okay, there's a bright spot in injury, but it looks like the Ollie Gordon era could begin sooner rather than later now.
Agreed. And you don't necessarily have to take him off the field in certain scenarios. He could do other things. I mentioned every time we talk about Gordon, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He could be a good pass protector. So in a pinch, he can be on the field for heavy snap counts and contribute. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Midfield, then we talked about the run. So now we go to Miami at Chicago's 28. Ollie Gordon with a short game for 3 yards. Again, positive yards. That was nothing. He gained. He leaned forward. Raheem Mostert was very good at that. 2nd and 7, Ewers. Hands to Gordon for another short gain. 3rd and 6, Ewers over the middle of the Matheson. Dolphins take goal line situation. And then this is unfortunately where Matheson got hurt here, man, with the neck injury. If you just joined us, he is out for the year. Dolphins placed him on IR, also released Monterey Baldwin. Picked up 2 running backs, Aaron Champlin and Mike Boone. You know him from Carolina, the veteran running back. But it looks like Ollie Gordon will get the first shot here.
Right.
And again, there's 80 people watching from all over. Guys, come on over to YouTube, hang out with us. Give us that thumbs up. Give us that subscribe button. Come hang out with us tonight. We're going through everything with Dolphins preseason game number 1. All right, and at the goal, Ewers, Ollie Gordon for a short pickup. 2nd and goal. Here we go. We're in the goal line. Gordon tries to power through it, but met at the 1. 3rd and goal. Let's do it again. Runs and leaps, and he got in. This is what I want to see. This is where I want to see Ollie Gordon, not Devon A-Chain here. Yes. This is where let A-Chain cook in the 20, between the 20s. Let's let Ollie Gordon here. It makes a big difference when you have this kind of back. I was glad they gave it to him. I was glad to see that, Jason.
100%. And as much as I love Devon A-Chan, you got to use him at his best areas and skill sets and the areas of the field. You can use Gordon at the goal line. You can use Wright at the goal line. So you have to keep A-Chan healthy and give him the ball where he's the most dangerous. A lot of field to work with outside the hash marks. That's what
Absolutely.
I want to see.
And man, another McClendon pressure, but
that shouldn't have been a rough in the pass.
Yes.
That was a ticky-tack.
Yes.
Didn't like that call.
I didn't like it either. But again, I like the noise I'm seeing on McClendon. That was good for him. Even that was a penalty. When they go in the film room, that's a net positive for Derek McClendon.
I don't think Anthony Weaver can get mad at McClendon for that.
No, he's not going to want them to keep being aggressive. That won't get called all the time. So, and then, boy, I know you had a big smile on your face. Number 51, Eugene Asante, tracks and tackles. You're smiling. You were smiling. I was thinking about you saw him. He's fast, man. I'll tell you that. How do you feel about Eugene's first game?
He played real well. He had 4 tackles or so. He got called for hitting a defenseless receiver, but I didn't like that one either. I thought it was just meeting Colton Loveston. I believe it was Loveston. He was trying to make a play, it looked like. I didn't love the flag, but I love the way Asante played. I don't necessarily think he could punch his ticket for the 53 just yet, but I think he can get through on the practice squad. But I like this kid. I like this kid.
A bunch of good defensive stops here for the. We'll kind of run through these stops by the Dolphins defense in 3rd and 8. Somebody laid the wood. Was that Eugene Asante again?
Dude, I'm telling
flag
you,
again. Another flag though.
That got me. I jumped up out of the seat, and then I got very upset when the flag was thrown.
1st and goal for Chicago. Wheeler breaks initial attempt in the backfield, gets in the end zone. Flag negates it. Keenan with the here's the one. Keenan with the fade pass over BJ. I thought BJ played well. That pass was a perfect pass, tough to defend. 24-21, Bears take the lead. Another kick return with A.J. Henning, then 1st and 10 for Miami with Gordon with a 2-yard run. 2nd and 8. This is where, Quinn Ewers a play fake, nice delivery over the middle to A.J. Henning. 1st down. A.J. Henning, somebody mentioned in the chat early, A.J. Henning is, they put him in a lot. They like the kid, obviously. He looked pretty good on return.
He looked all right. And listen, I would be absolutely fine with getting him on a practice squad and having him develop a little bit. But yeah, he's making a name.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And a few passes from Ewers, but it was 4th down, incomplete to Henning, and then a incomplete to Baldwin. And your guy Jason Sanders, 56-yarder, and not to mention the hold was perfect.
And I gotta say,
there we go.
There were a couple of holds. Ryan Stonehouse had one hold. Jake Bailey came in after Stonehouse did a hold to have that 56-yard hold. Holding matters, everybody. And
holding matters, kickers matters, punters matter, long snapper. But I'll tell you what matters the most: special team coaches, man. That matters.
Shout out to him.
Okay, so 1st and 10 for the Bears. Channing Tindall makes an appearance. Finally, Reed to Walker for a 1st down and 2nd down play for the Bears. Isaiah Johnson broke up. Man, I'll tell you, I liked him when I saw it of him last game as a corner. His length really impressed me. I told you at the beginning he's kind of was out of the young guys. I mean, the Adams, Ethan Robinsons, Jason Marshall Jr. made a play. You didn't see him much, but again, you're not going to cut Jason Marshall Jr. So, but out of the young guys, I thought Johnson played the best. 3rd and 3 for the Bears. Run stop. Another guy. DaQuan Jackson played really well in this game, Jason.
You had those guys, DaQuan Jackson, McClendon, Matt Dickerson. You want to see this as numbers 56, 57, 58 maybe on the roster, really trying to make a push. These guys were doing so. There's just not enough uniforms to fill that 53 for these guys. Maybe one of them sneaks through, but credit to those 3. Credit to Jackson for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a spot for him because KJ Britt also played early. I thought KJ played pretty well.
Britt played pretty well as well.
We did it in our 53. It's going to be tough, right? Like that inside linebacker spot. There's a lot of depth. Again, we keep mentioning depth in the front 7, right?
100%. It's a good place to have the depth. To tell you that.
Oh yeah, especially as the season goes on, because there's always injuries in that room. Okay. So let's move on. 4th and 3, Reed in the shotgun takes over. Isaiah Johnson on coverage again. Clean takeover. Quinn Ewers got the opportunity here. Here's the opportunity for Quinn to kind of step up. And obviously, 1st and 10, Ewers on the screen pass to Weiss. They're in the hurry up. 4th and 5, incomplete pass. Ewers in Miami stays on the field. Ewers over the middle. This one was a nice pass. Ewers to Gordon. Again, showing Gordon's versatility, but a nice strike by Ewers. Probably his best pass of the game. 1st and 15, Ewers incomplete. 46 seconds left. Incomplete to Zakama. 2nd and 15, 40 seconds left. Ewers to the right sideline, sails out of bounds. 3rd and 15, Ewers deflected at the line of scrimmage, intended for Armstrong. Bears bring the house on 4th and 15. Ewers sack, fumble, turnover. Bears in field goal range. Basically, you guys know the rest. Bears couldn't finish it out. The game was tied. As you said, the Dolphins end their trip with a tie to Chicago, playing to work on and positives to build on. And I want to talk about some of those positives. And we're going to give you guys wrap up with our general thoughts. But I want to talk about the young defensive tackles. and we're going to start with Kenny Grant. And I want to show you some of the highlights Kenny Grant made in this play, in this game. And there's a couple things that really stood out to me. So here's all plays. Keep your look at 90 in the middle of there. Him taking on a double team. There he is again. Again, pushing this guy back. Look at that. You remember you said don't look at the stats. Look at 90 again. Shed block, disrupting the middle of the field, allowed McClendon to get the sack. Look at him chase the screen. This is a 330-pound guy, Jason, chasing on the screen.
Faster Timmy Bowen.
And then get his hands up. I mean, He was all over the place, Jason, all over the place during this game. It's the same thing I saw in college. His active hands, the ability to be active and move around at 330 pounds. He's disruptive. When the pads come on, he comes on. Holding double teams. His tape was really good in this first game. I am really, really excited about him. Your thoughts on Kenny Grant's first game?
Got his hands up on a pass defended at the end at the line, allowing other people to get the tackles for losses, to get sack potential. And he's going to be paired near Zach Sealer. They're going to feed off each other. And I really think that, I even said Bobby shouts credit to Bobby. He was a very initial proponent of the Dolphins drafting Grant maybe a month or so before the draft. And I piggybacked off that. I said it could probably be the most no-brainer pick, safest pick for the Dolphins to make at that spot. And you're going to see it. It was such a solid and potential super pick as he develops. But Kenny Grant, he's going to be an absolute force. Love the player, love the potential.
Yeah. And how many mock drafts do we have, Kenny Grant?
20.
And Savi and I, we have
20. You would have probably traded up with Savi and I in the first too.
Biggers was great too. His length stood out. They had him playing some 5 technique on the end. I was talking, imagine if they go with 3-man line with Grant at the nose and at the, let's say you're playing the 3 technique, you have Sealer and you have Biggers, or even at the 5. I mean, that is just, and then you can rotate Jordan Phillips. And speaking of Jordan Phillips, one play in particular just blew me away. But let's go to Jordan Phillips highlights because he underrated in this game. Look at 94. Look at him hold base, shed the block. Here it is. You know how crazy that play is? We're going to get a close-up of that. That is insane for a 21-year-old. Look at him ride the line, hold his guy, the pure straight double team. Again, stats don't matter. Look at 94. Again, out in space. Man, and that one play. Here's the one play, a close look. Everybody look closely at this. I can't explain to you how difficult this is. Let's roll that back.
Could have been a touchdown.
Double team sheds the double team, throws them off, stuffs the running back. I gotta watch it again. This got me so excited. Sheds, unbelievable. 21 years old, the kind of strength he has.
I don't even know if he's 21 yet. He might be 21 in like a week or so. I think he's going to turn 21 in like a month or something like that.
Wow. So we were going to do general thoughts at the top. Let's do general thoughts now. Your general thoughts of the game there, Jason, overall. After we went through all the tweets. Shout out to Jason Sarney. Good. Thank you for putting all those tweets out. We can go through them. I appreciate that. Great work. And we're not going to go in. When Jason does it, we're not going to go. We use Travis. Travis does a great job, by the way.
Travis
is
the king.
But when our guy, our Finn's Faithful family guy, Mike Host, puts the tweets out, you better believe we're rocking with them. But shout out to Travis. Does a fantastic job. And you won't see. We'll be using Travis's stuff again. But your general thoughts, Jason, on the game, your takeaways.
Some good, some positive, some things to work on. Loved Ali Gordon. Love the Washington brothers. Love the defensive line. I know Washingtons are not brothers, but we'll call them that. Yeah. This is to his team, folks. When we see a full offense with Tua leading it, this team could do some damage. The front seven on defense, I'm encouraged by. Let's see what happens with the secondary. I'm not willing to go all in with them yet. You have work to be done with the cornerbacks. But a predictive standpoint, I still think this is probably hovering right now at like a 9-win team. You know, you need a lot of things to go right, but I don't think this is a disaster-ridden season in the making. Obviously, injuries could fix that, but there was enough to take away from a road preseason game to come away with a tie. They could have gotten the win, but give it a B minus, give it a B. You know, I don't really love grading here, but there was enough to take away that there could be some encouragement.
Yeah,
a little bit over some negative.
Yeah, here I'll give you my thoughts overall in this game particularly. I mentioned a lot of it when we went through it. The young defensive tackles, I mentioned it. Grant, we showed you the film. Grant, Phillips, and Biggers. Impressive for a first game. The starting O-line flashed on that first 15-play drive. I liked how they moved. The potential on the left side. Again, few hiccups with Savianaya. He whiffed on a block that in the goal line where they stuffed Jalen Wright, and he had some issues with technique, pass pro a little upright. But overall, I saw enough potential. The combination of him and Patrick Paul, man, I'm excited about what he could become. We showed you Baldy's breakdown there in the episode. If you just tuning out, go back, watch that minute and 30 clip with Baldy talking about him. If you don't believe us, just listen to Baldy. The O-line depth, staying on the O-line, the depth is back.
Bad.
We showed you the Jermaine Ifedi whiffs, Keon Smith's whiff that led to that sack strip fumble on Ewers. The tackle position scares me, Jason. You made a point. It's bad enough where if, let's say, there's an injury, they have to God forbid, with Patrick Poe, they might have to slide who Jonah has experience at right and left tackle, mostly at right. They might have to slide him and kind of do some musical chairs there, which we don't want to see. We want to see those guys learn that position. Zach Wilson, highs and lows. You saw what it made him at times a second pick overall, but then you saw what he was with the Jets. Pocket presence horrible. Holds on to the ball. So a lot of those sacks were credited to him, even though the depth of the O-line was bad and a couple whiff blocks. Still, a lot of those sacks were credited to him. He doesn't have a good feel around the pocket, and his footwork gets real clumsy, and it kind of messes up his velocity and his throws. But if you don't appreciate Tua, after you watch Zach, you should appreciate the pocket presence and the ball skills and the ball handling that Tua has. But it's still one game. And the other quarterback, Quinn Ewers, I think on the opposite side, yeah, he had the worst stats of the game of the three, but I don't think he played as bad as those stats where we showed you what happened on the stack strip fumble. The young receivers didn't help him out. Henning, Weiss, Armstrong, they didn't get any separation. A lot of it's timing. We saw, he was learning how to get the ball out quick. Let's be patient with him. He's a developmental guy. There's a lot to like. Let's be patient. I don't think all was on him. I don't think it was as bad as it looked. But, again, we got to settle down the hype train a little bit. The young DBs, I thought the best were Bonner and Johnson stood out the most. I think the tight end unit concerned me, even though the one Tanner Connor pass was a short out from Wilson. I think they need Waller to come in and be ready to play, especially in goal line situations, as far as pass catching situations and work the middle of the field. The front seven on defense, Jason, there's a lot of depth. We mentioned it going through this, not only with the starters, but Willie Gay, where are you going to put him? Does he have to start?
I think
linebacker.
so.
Yeah, I mean, does he have to start? That's a question we have to ask.
Yeah, I think him and Brooks are the starters with Dotson being rotated in and see how that rest of the room fills out. But those are your top three.
And then you look at the young rushers, Grayson Murphy, Derek McClendon, Cameron Good. So what are they going to go with? The pure rusher, the special teamer, or the guy who can do a little bit of both? That's going to be a close battle. McClendon, man, he really stood out. I thought he was maybe their best player on defensive end and edge yesterday. And ended with the bad news with Matheson, but the good news with Ollie Gordon was fantastic, Jason. Again, quick, decisive, what I wanted to see. It was the biggest fallout from the 23-24 tape. Yeah, I give it a B performance. And, they got the Bears. They got the Lions joint practice coming up. So, man, I think that's good. We went an hour and 20 minutes. I think where else are you going to find that kind of video and play-by-play here? Check us out. We'll be on soon. Maybe on Wednesday. Still working some things out. We're figuring everything out. But follow us on social media, guys, and make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe. Again, happy birthday to your son, Jason.
Happy birthday to you, my friend. And thank you for all that you do. Okay.
Thank you for real. I appreciate it. Thank you for making the time. And coming on. I know you had a late birthday dinner with your son, so go back now and celebrate with him. Did you start school up there yet?
He starts school in a couple of like a week and a half.
Oh, okay,
2
because
weeks,
they just
actually.
started
Yeah.
down here a little.
Now we're a late start. We're a late
yeah.
start here in Pennsylvania.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be on again. You know where to follow us. We're all in. Stick with us. We're gonna give you the best Dolphins coverage possible that our hands will allow. So as always, guys, fins up. We are out.